Hi, Shivakrishna.
Hi, sir.
How are you?
Good, sir. Good.
Okay. I saw your resume. There is a job description I sent to you. You can pull that into document and let us walk through that. That is a DevOps engineer on multi-cloud like AWS and Azure as per the job description.
Mm-hmm.
So now you can open that, share that document, and at the same time, you explain about your internship, how it started, how did you do. I saw your presentations in the resume, and you need to explain how you approach that presentation activity, what all the things you have done it in high level. Just this is going to be a 10 minutes call. It should not go beyond 10 minutes. This is an initial call.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, just show the documents. This is the role, right? DevOps engineer.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So when I initially started my journey 2 years ago in the internship, so basically for the weekly, I have spent around 15 to 20 hours of the time to learn AWS services as well as the uh, Azure also. So whenever I have done some of the learning part from the AWS Cloud and Azure, so since from the past 3 months, from the September, I have been doing the POCs on the cloud services by using the AWS and few of the concepts from the Azure also.
What is POC? POC stands for what?
It's basically a proof of concept. We can say that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and explain your
So,
POCs in what areas you have done. Then later on, come back to the JD and map to the JD. Where do you fit for what kind of points you fit in the job description?
so you can see here my resume where so I have done some of the POCs on the AWS Azure, AWS Cloud. First one you can. So almost I have covered
Yes.
various services on the AWS services like uh, database concept and EBS volumes,
Okay. Okay.
and also the EFS service. Then for the containers, we are using the ECS Elastic Container Service, and also for the orchestration, we are using the EKS service, and also some of the code pipeline, code repository
Okay. For DevOps,
services.
AWS DevOps.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
and also the cloud formation automation tool to create the infrastructure, everything. And
Did
similarly,
you use JSON there in CloudFormation? JSON code?
JSON and YAML both.
Both. Okay. Okay.
And also finally S3 bucket, how we can use their storage purpose, and some of the Lambda and Boto 3 scripts.
Okay. You wrote Boto 3 scripts in Linux or Windows?
This is for Linux.
Okay.
And some of the POCs from the Azure also,
Okay. Azure demos. Okay. Okay.
basic services.
Okay. What is the difference between S3 storage and AWS storage? You take a file. I want to
Mm,
share that file.
okay.
So, what is your design approach in a S3, and the same proof of concept if you want to show in Azure, how are you going to do that? I have file sharing. Okay. There are 3-4 regions users are working on a business. Now, those users wanted to share their files also across the 3 users, I mean 2 other users also in different regions. In such case, how to use AWS, how to use Azure?
Okay, so if you first will okay, we will show how to set up the S3 bucket. So in AWS Cloud, basically we are creating the bucket first of all for the S3 storage purpose. So once we created the bucket, we need to enable the public access for the bucket. Whatever the files we are uploading into the bucket, we need to give the public access. So once we have enabled the public access, we can share that particular URL, object URL into the various to the other person developers, so that they can able to access this file, and they can also, if we want, they can modify that file. Suppose if you came across into the Azure storage, like we are using the blob storage containers, like in the blob storage we are using the containers. Inside the containers we are going to create the one file. So container is nothing, it is a one folder, like it is a folder. And inside the folder we are uploading whatever the files we need to upload. So once the files are uploaded into the container folder, then there is one option, access level. We need to enable the access level.
Okay.
So that they
Now, you use identity access management user IDs also in cloud services. Where are you will be using them in this scenario?
one second. So there is noise.
You got my question? Did you get my question?
Yes, sir. Once again.
There are identity access management. IAM user IDs set up in S3 or in Azure to give access to the users. Under what options you are going to use them in both cloud services? First, you explain about S3 setup.
So the users, what are the permissions need to require for the users in order to access S3 bucket?
Yes.
So while creating the
you need to plug in the IDs somewhere in both cloud services. Where all you will be using, what options are there?
So okay, whenever you created the credentials for the other developers, there in the we need to create one role in order to access the S3 bucket, S3 full permission role.
Okay, I am asking the screen operations.
Okay, so that if you go to the IAM console, basically, so there is a, on the left panel we have the users and the roles, and the options are available creating for the users and roles.
What policies you need to plug in there?
So inside the roles, we are going to connect with S3 full access. For the users, we need to give the permission to the particular users.
Let us say you have a bucket, in the bucket file is uploaded and you need to share that bucket or file to users, other users, where all you will be plugging their IDs in which option or in which screen of S3.
So that is for
Sharing CRR options are there, right? I'm
so
asking about that.
okay. So basically CRR is that one option is available inside the S3 bucket, where is the management tab is there. One management tab.
Okay.
Inside that
Okay.
one
And
option is there. Cross region replication rule is there. So once you click on that cross region replication rule, we can configure the that what is that
you'll be adding the IAM user IDs on these screens, right?
yeah, but destination and destination bucket.
Okay. Okay. The same way, where are the options in Azure? These kind of operations where you can use
So in Azure, I didn't cover that IAM
cross
stuff.
sharing
Yes.
in the presentations.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. Next one is can you take that JD? There are 6 months experience or some points they mentioned at eligibility in the job description. Just go through them, go down, go down. Yes. At least 4 or 5 of the below mentioned are good to have. Okay. Take 4 items, explain them, which you are eligible.
Okay.
Which one you are eligible among the 4? Any 4? Yeah.
So first one, hands-on 6 months or more experience by using the infrastructure as a code with Terraform.
Uh, how many presentations you have done on Terraform so far?
So far, 3 to 5 POCs are from the doing the Terraform by using the Terraform tool automation.
What kind of infrastructure setup you have done with that scripts?
Basically, the WordPress two-tier architecture with the backend DB server.
Did you use RDS also?
Yes.
Okay. Then
Then one Apache web server setup with the help of Terraform on the EC2 instance.
okay. Okay. Then what is the next step? Next point. This first one, okay, you are qualified. Second one,
So hands-on 6 months or more experience by configuration as a code like so here I have done one demo on the Ansible configuration purpose. Uh,
Ansible.
yes, where I have set up the Apache web server on the EC2 instances.
Okay. Now
And
tell me a little difference between the Ansible and Terraform while setting up the environment. What are the prerequisites you need to take care of that? Let us say, tell about Ansible. In the beginning, what you need to set up in Ansible to run a script.
so while if you come to this Ansible topic, basically we need to set up the passwordless authentication in between the master and worker client nodes. And also you need to create the users for the master and worker nodes. Then once you set up the passwordless authentication in between the master and worker nodes, then we can configure the our whatever we have the requirement. We need to set up the one inventory file. Inside the inventory file, we need to add the public IPs of the client nodes inside the inventory file. So once we have set up that one, we can create the infrastructure, and also we can deploy some of the tasks by using the YAML, Ansible YAML scripts into the client nodes.
Okay.
But
Okay.
okay.
Now let us come back for Terraform. The same kind of setup if you are doing Apache 2. What is the process for Terraform setup?
So basically, in the Terraform, basically we are creating the basic files like variables file and one resource file, like in the EC2 server. So there is one EC2. In the EC2, we are going to set up the Apache. So for that, we are going at uh, the script inside the EC2.
Mm.
That file we are adding inside the EC2 file, creation file. And
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
so the main difference between this Terraform and Ansible is so this Terraform is an immutable structure, so it will not change whenever you have added anything. But Ansible is nothing but it is an immutable infrastructure.
Okay. Here they are mentioning three tools: Chip, Puppet, Ansible. You are eligible for 30% only. Let us take one more. I need 100% qualifiable point here. Okay. Do you work with the Docker containers and Docker? Sixth point, if you see.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Containers. Basically, in the Docker, we are creating the images and uploading into the Docker Hub storage and deploy into the particular in the AWS services like
What
EC
service you are using for containers in AWS?
Elastic Container Service.
Okay. What kind of project setup you have done it?
That WordPress setup. Yeah, basically,
Is it single tier or two tier?
it's a single tier only.
Single tier only. Okay.
Mm.
Where did you store the images?
That Elastic Container repository is available on the AWS Cloud.
Okay. Let us say I don't have any image. Can you create with ECR one image and store in ECR?
Yes, yes, yes.
How can you do that process? Now let us say
Mm.
I need one Apache server image.
Okay.
Okay, because WordPress needs some web server installed setup, right? To install WP code, right?
Yes.
WP WordPress is there in PHP code, right? So we
Mm.
need one Apache server image to set up that, right?
Yes.
Now tell me the process. You need to build one image and push it to ECR. Can you tell the steps?
Okay. So initially, when we start building the image, so first of all, we need to pull the image from the Docker Hub.
Let us say in Docker Hub also you don't have.
Okay.
You need to do like a fresh.
Mm. So first we need to install that Apache server in the EC2 instance. So
Yeah, go ahead.
once you install the Apache server and the EC2 instance, then next we are going to taking one Docker file.
No. Why the EC2 instance is required? So you have a Docker engine in the Linux system. You can do from there also, right? EC2 instance, when you install, there is no Docker. You should build the container first. Then later on, you need to save the image, right?
Yes.
Why you are talking about EC2? EC2 is nowhere concerned for this.
I'm
Yeah.
on the EC2 machine, like a Docker engine is available, right?
Yeah, you okay? Tell from that level onwards.
So basically, we
Steps.
have one EC2 machine, and that Docker engine is available.
Hmm.
So once we have installed the Apache web server on the EC2 machine, then we are going to create the container for the that Apache with the help of command docker hub hyphen it create one command is
Hmm.
there. So that
Hmm.
command will create the container. So
Hmm.
once the container is created, from the container we are going to build the image.
Hmm.
And once after the image is ready for the Apache, then we are going to push this image into the ECR repository by configuring the AWS CLI credentials.
So basically, you have a Linux system. On Linux system, you have a Docker engine. In Docker engine, you have created
Yes.
the container of the Apache 2. Then you are uploading that container as image into ECR directly from the Linux system. Am I right?
Yeah. Once we converted container into image, then we can push into the various repositories like Docker Hub and ECR.
Okay. Okay. Now, I want that ECR to be given access to other users. What is the process? You have uploaded one image, Apache to image. Your colleague needs access to that. How are you going to set up that access?
Okay. On the ECR, we have the one URL is available on the
Hmm.
ECR repository.
Hmm.
So for that, we need to give the access to the other developer. Before that, we need to create one role, and we
Hmm.
need to give the ECR repository access inside the role, and
Hmm.
we can
Hmm.
send URL to the that developer.
Okay. User ID URL, access
Mm.
URL. Okay.
Mm.
Now coming to okay, sixth point, you are eligible 100%. Seventh point, Kubernetes. What areas you worked in Kubernetes?
So basically, we are using the EKS process here for the Kubernetes
Hmm.
orchestration purpose.
Hmm.
Uh, we are using that. Basically, we are creating the pods initially.
Hmm.
Uh, so once the pods are ready, after that we are going to create the service YAML file in order to access some WordPress site or Apache web server.
Hmm.
And the YAML file, we are going to write some YAML script in order to access this file. So once the script the script is ready, then we are going to deploy that into the EKS cluster nodes.
Okay. What kind of application setup you have done in EKS so far in your
EKS,
demos?
yeah, this is also a WordPress site.
Is it single tier or two tier?
It is a single type. So,
Okay. Okay. So you worked with Kubernetes clusters and pods also. You have done some work on that. Okay, fine. Now coming to support.
mm,
So for how many points you are eligible? Second point I can't consider it because 30% only you are eligible. First
mm,
point 100%, sixth point 100%. Then seventh point I can say at your level you have worked more than 6 months for Kubernetes. I can say. But so far you have done the presentations on AWS Kubernetes only. You are going to do in Azure Kubernetes also, right?
mm, mm.
Okay. Now coming to eighth and ninth, can you explain what kind of support you can give it? Any troubleshooting kind of things you can do in the projects, like you have L1, L2 support kind of activities. So emergency purpose, you need to fix the issues. Let us say you go to load balancers, there are network errors.
Mm,
They are
mm.
not able to perform accessing the site. Users are complaining it. So how are you going to tackle that kind of issues?
Yes, yesterday we have discussed on the troubleshooting about application as well as network in the AWS cloud infrastructure.
Hmm.
So there we have discussed some of the errors while getting not accessing the web application from the browser. So for that we have taken some of the few errors and we can analyze that. And in the Azure, we need to take that. So we didn't cover that Azure support troubleshooting.
Troubleshooting. Okay, you are going to do that, right? In Azure, you are going to do the troubleshooting in Azure, right?
Yes, yes.
For demos purpose.
Mm.
Okay, so in the back end, you have worked for troubleshooting. Even while doing POCs, you have done a lot of troubleshooting, right? So with that experience, you can conclude eighth and ninth points are eligible, right? So totally, how many points are eligible as per our discussion? 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 5 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you are eligible for this job. Let us say as per the job description. Okay. Now that's all in this call. Just let us close the recording and we'll go ahead with other interviews later on.